Mysteries are all around us, and with mysteries come discoveries. Sometimes secrets lie dormant for thousands of years until we uncover their truths. Likewise, as we develop as a species, our technology develops with us. What future mysteries will be unfurled? So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we will be taking a look at 3 interesting discoveries. Archaeologists have discovered a lost Civil War tunnel under Alcatraz prison. The Alcatraz prison has gone down in history as one of the world's most infamous prisons. The small island it is placed on was once home to a lighthouse, then a military fortress, and eventually the prison that housed some of the era's most dangerous criminals. Nowadays, Alcatraz prison is a popular tourist attraction. Countless secrets are hidden in between the concrete walls and layers of the prison, and yet recently it has come to light that a mystery has laid latent beneath the infamous tourist location for the past 150 years. Researchers recently found something extraordinary beneath the small island, buildings and tunnels that have since been dated back to the American Civil Conflict of 1861 to 1865. Timothy DeSmet, one of the researchers involved with the tunnel's discovery and an archaeologist of the University of Binghamton, has stated, "I was surprised for several reasons. The remains of these historical archaeological features were just a few centimeters beneath the surface, and they were miraculously and impeccably preserved. The concrete veneer of the recreation yard floor is incredibly thin, and, in fact, in places sitting directly atop the architecture from the 1860s. The archaeology team did not proceed to dig the historical site up, as that would have quite possibly ruined the entire underground structure. What they did instead of digging was to use the latest technology, a ground-penetrating laser radar, to obtain detailed scans of the island's underground. Then the team used period-authentic maps of Alcatraz to determine what lies beneath the prison island. Timothy DeSmet proceeded to explain what his team discovered in the findings. We also learned that some of the earthwork traverses were covered over with thin concrete layers through time, likely to decrease erosion on the rainy, windy island. It was wonderful to find the history just beneath our feet that we can visualize for the public. What the team discovered specifically were the residues of buried buildings described by the archaeologists as bomb-proof, so to speak. The tunnels are constructed of vaulted brick masonry with ventilation ducts meant for making them breathable, the kind of tunnel you might have to stay in for a prolonged amount of time. The east-west tunnel ran directly beneath the prison's recreation yard, as previously stated. Many people are unaware of Alcatraz's role as a 19th century fornication for military personnel during the era of the 1849 gold rush, civil conflict, and even the time period of the widespread manifest destiny. The tunnels come from Alcatraz's time as a military base, and remnant buildings from this time remain on the 50-acre island. The clandestine underground was created to protect San Francisco from invasions. Despite us knowing what existed prior to the building of the prison, before this discovery we lacked the specific knowledge of what the island was like. All our data came from past documents and a limited number of artifacts that remained from the pre-prison era of Alcatraz. These tunnels can shed an incredible amount of light on what inhabiting this mysterious island might have been like before its dark prison history. John Martini, a historian who has dedicated his life to uncovering more about Alcatraz, stated, "This really reinforces what several historians and archaeologists had long suspected. Up until this point, we had nothing to go on except for a few visible trace remains and maps, and a lot of suspicion. On a small island, there's only so many places you can build." The existence of such structures was contemplated by archaeologists in the past, but they lacked the means to prove it. Now the team hopes that the technique they used could be used in other places around the world for historical landmarks they are unable to dig up. In the words of DeSmet, these results are significant in that they show how modern technology can be used to answer fundamental questions of archaeological importance. Space tourism company to launch commercial flights to the stratosphere by 2024. Traveling to space, a concept that, until recently, was nothing more than a wishful fantasy straight out of a sci-fi novel or TV show. Well, now Worldview Enterprises has entered the scene, and they are planning on revolutionizing the spaceflight industry to make space flights accessible to a wider range of people. Worldview Enterprises was established 10 years ago in Arizona and is now offering a journey into space by using rocketless balloons that will travel straight up into the stratosphere. A far cry from Bezos's Blue Origin flight, the Worldview Enterprises experience will be an interesting endeavor to be sure. The balloons will lift Voyagers 18 miles into the air. This is nowhere near as deep into space as the company's competitors offer. True space is said to begin at the Kármán line, 100 kilometers into space, though others argue it begins at 50 miles up. Blue Origin's flight can get you just above the Kármán line at 106 kilometers. The peak of the Worldview Enterprises flight might disappoint, but they are confident in their rocketless aviation, claiming it will be worth the once-in-a-lifetime experience. Clients will be able to witness the Earth's curve for the first time with their own eyes, as well as see the true darkness of space. CEO Ryan Hartman stated, "We're redefining space tourism. Lamentably, the tickets start at $50,000, hardly a cheap venture for those curious about participating in the journeys. The flights are said to be between 6 and 8 hours in length. Some journeys might last several days. The balloons are more accurately capsules that can hold up to 8 people at a time. The company is planning on operating 100 flights annually over various historically or culturally important landmarks that will supposedly last 5 days. Some such destinations include the Great Barrier Reef, the Giza Pyramids, and the wonders of the world, and the journeys are allegedly going to be smooth and gentle. Worldview Enterprises argue that, unlike Blue Origin flights, which use rocket power and suffer G-force, their balloon alternatives will allow people of all sizes and ages to traverse space. When asked about whether the Worldview Enterprise space travel is a joyride, CEO Ryan Hartman refuted it, saying it's much bigger and more important than most people realize. Hartman claimed he wishes to turn space travel into a commodity for all sorts of people from all walks of life, for families, for couples, for cosmos-loving individuals. Hartman believes that space is the future of the travel industry. The very first flight has already been entirely sold out by Space for Humanity, a non-profit organization that is offering the purchased tickets to anyone who wishes to participate but is unable to afford the relatively expensive tickets themselves. The first flight will begin in Arizona, near to the Grand Canyon. However, the company are hopeful that they might be able to add other landmarks to that list soon after they can prove how the world should invest in their idea. BallShaped Mass found 3,200 miles beneath the surface of the Earth. Deep beneath the Earth lies our planet's inner core. This ball-shaped iron mass is the reason for our magnetic field. Back in the 1950s, it was believed the inner core was solid, but now it has been proven that it is in fact composed of various materials, molten metal liquids, soft structures and harsh objects form the core, as discovered by geophysicist Rhett Butler. Clearly, no human nor machine has ever seen the core. The heat and depth make it unavailable to study up close. As a result, we have only ever been able to make educated assumptions regarding its components. Butler and his co-author, Seiji Subo, used earthquake waves to research the core. Butler explains, illuminated by earthquakes in the crust and upper mantle and observed by seismic observatories at Earth's surface, seismology offers the only direct way to investigate the inner core and its processes. Seismic waves move the Earth's layers, and thus studying their movements helps us determine the densities, temperatures, and minerals within the particular layers. By using the results taken from 2 different sides of an earthquake, Suboy and Butler gathered enough data to place into Japan's Earth supercomputer generator and evaluated their findings. Their research suggested that, unlike the 1950s and 1970s theories that the inner core was made of soft iron alloys, it is actually composed of various hard, liquid, and soft regions together in a mixture held together by pressure. In Butler's words, this puts new constraints upon the composition, thermal history, and evolution of Earth. This changes how the magnetic field may be studied in the future. Knowledge of this boundary condition from seismology may enable better, predictive models of the geomagnetic field which shields and protects life on our planet. Our future is shaping up to be something extraordinary. Who knows what awaits us in the years to come? Will space travel be a common occurrence? Will we understand how our own Earth works with new insight? Will more historical secrets be unraveled? Time can only tell, but for now, we can marvel at these amazing findings. But what do you make of these discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comments section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.